Hey, it's Nash. Just a quick note on this episode. There's some occasional crackling in the beginning. Sound guy Ben didn't know what was happening and said it couldn't be fixed. It goes away though, so just ride the lightning and enjoy.
Nash! Whoa!
Welcome back to the National Pastime. I'm Nash.
I'm Aaron.
Yeah, I just got back in from Japan. It's been a couple months since we recorded, so who knows how long it's been in internet land. Super stoked though, because I forgot that I gave Aaron a project.
Yes.
Before I took off. What is it? Tell me about it. I want to learn all about it.
So for once, I brought notes.
Yeah, and I have so many more notes. So
Oh, yes.
You're welcome if this episode is crazy long.
So the project you gave me was to explain the difference between ARM and x86.
I remember this, but
architecture.
your project was to describe it in a manner that I could
that you would
understand. Yes, like the absolute
Yes.
Sesame Street bare bones version. All right, lay it on me.
So ultimately, it's just a difference in instruction sets for CPUs. Intel owns the x86 instruction set, and they only have released the rights out to a couple other companies like AMD. And it's unlikely they'll ever release out that
Sure.
instruction set again. And also, they just recently amended the contract with AMD, saying that if they were ever acquired by another company,
That they couldn't keep
that company could not use the x86 instruction set. So even though AMD is actually doing really well right now,
Sure, in the event that they fail, buying them is not a
Right.
great idea because you're not going to
because their processors then at that point essentially be worthless.
Yeah, it's basically just buying like a blank slate.
Yeah, I mean they still
point
make
in time.
video cards,
Right.
And in the PC market they aren't too big, but in the console market, the current consoles,
I did know that the AMD is the cat's gold.
Yeah,
Is that a saying?
cat's meow. I think is the common saying.
I don't know where
That might be a
comes
saying
from.
somewhere.
Yeah.
So also though, ARM is a company.
ARM is a company?
I forget what the
Oh.
acronym stands for, but that's the actual company name. The other thing is they don't make their own chips and then sell them to people.
Right.
Basically, other companies approach them with specs. Basically, say, here, we want a chip that can beat these requirements. And ARM will make a chip and then license it to them.
So they're like carpenters, but for computers.
Yeah. To create an analogy,
All right, I'm ready. Lay it on me.
put in the simplest terms,
Full Sesame Street it for me.
the x86 architecture is like a NASCAR race car. Super powerful, very fast, but burns gas like crazy. It's expensive. Sure, you can still drive to the grocery and to work daily, but it's not really optimal
Right,
for those
okay.
types of tasks.
It's really only good for NASCAR racing.
Yeah. So
Purpose-built.
lots of power.
Purpose built for that one specific scenario.
Whereas ARM is kind of like a Prius. Not super fast, but highly efficient.
Like, you're not very good at all, but
Yeah, but super efficient. Lots of room to store your groceries inside. Has a nice
pretty much-
infotainment display with all kinds of new tech features.
let's say that's what I buy computers for. I'm just like, how many groceries can I fit in this computer? That's how I measure all electronics. Just like, but how many groceries does it hold? They're like, sir, it's not a thing. I'm like, well, you have lost a sale, sir.
So basically, as far as like day-to-day tasks, ARM chips are very good at that and very efficient.
Okay.
But if you need something with a lot of muscle, then x86 is where you're going to go.
Thank you. Now I understand it. They just need everyone needs to break everything down to the bottom of the barrel. If you go through life, if you've ever had a job where you had a coworker, which, not really me because I'm not all about jobs, but other people have had coworkers, have come across with other people. If you ever had a thing where you had to do something with another person, if you just assume that everyone else on your team or whoever you interact with, if you just assume that they are ignorant and lazy, you will rarely do too much work. That's an important thing to keep in mind. You will rarely overstep your needs to accomplish the task. Now, I didn't say stupid and lazy, just ignorant and lazy, because they probably don't know whatever, and they probably don't care to put forth the effort to know. So, ignorance and lazy. So, good job, thank you, because I am ignorant and lazy. But now I'm less ignorant. Equally as lazy, though, but less ignorant. All right, so before I get to my... Oh, you know what? We'll jump right into our sponsor, and then Sound Guy Ben has an incredible story because we're still sitting on our just regular old chairs, and we walked in, and geez Louise, Sound Guy Ben is in a rocket chair, like just a race car looking. In fact, it says racer on it. DRX Racer, bright blue stripes. What a chair!
That chair basically looks like the chairs that are in my car now.
Oh yeah, you got a new car. Aaron got a new car. Everyone's doing big things. I'm doing the
new to me, not brand new.
I'm doing the same things, but everyone else is moving up in life. That's great. It's good to feel like the people around you are steadily making progress while you stay the same. It's great. But all right, before we get to the story of how he got this, the anecdote of how he got this chair, today's sponsor, this episode's sponsor is Panache, which is a word that we've been shouting for a while, unofficial catchphrase, because it's got the sound Nash in it, and it sounds fun. And I thought I knew what it meant, but I went ahead and I gave it the old googly moogly, and now I really know what it means. So
they're just basically like gumption.
A bit, but it's a specific type. So panache is a word of French origin that carries the connotation of both a flamboyant manner paired with reckless courage. And man, I could not be happier that that's the actual definition of that word. The literal translation is a plume, as in a giant feather, such as is worn on a hat or a helmet. The reference is to King Henry IV of France, a pleasure-loving and cynical military leader, famed for wearing a striking white plume in his helmet, and for his war cry, "Follow my white plume!" So he would just run into battle with this big, stupid, giant white feather sticking out of his head, and then everyone was to follow that as he rushed in. But it was made famous in, and I hope I don't butcher the pronunciation of this, the famous play Cyrano de Bergerac. Have you heard of that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm good on you. So the epitome of panache and the reason for its establishment as a virtue are found in the depiction of Cyrano de Bergerac in his play of that name. Prior to that play, panache was not necessarily a good quality and was seen by some as a suspect quality. Why would you want reckless courage paired with a flamboyant manner? Sounds dangerous. Not to me. Sounds fantastic. But in the play, panache is referred to explicitly at 2 points, but is implicit throughout. So Cyrano, he challenges a Montfleury, a Valvert, and at one point, an entire audience in a theater, like to a fight. He just throws down challenges to that. And then he nonchalantly surrendered a month's worth of his salary to pay for the damages and the duels. And like oh, no big deal. And then later on in the play, he dueled with 100 people. And then after that, he dismissed it nonchalantly. And he's like, oh, I've been much braver since then. Like, oh, that time I beat up 100 guys, that's nothing. Since then, I've done much bigger things. And then, of course, the part of the play is he's in love with his girl, Roxanne. And then he would cross Spanish war lines to deliver love letters to her. And then he made a promise that he would meet with her. And he left his deathbed to go keep his promise. So he's like dying, and he's like, oh, I can't die yet. I've got to get up from my deathbed and go keep this promise. So yes, panache, a flamboyant manner paired with reckless courage. So that's probably my catchphrase from now on. Very excited that that's what that means. Panache! So,
interestingly, and show off my nerd credit.
Please do.
So in Dungeons and Dragons...
in Dungeons and Dragons...
There's
so many die.
There's a class that actually uses panache as a resource.
It's a resource? Is it like a? Can you use it up?
Yeah, so it's basically they get so much panache per day.
Okay. To show my ignorance, I actually don't understand how Dungeons and Dragons works. I've never played it before. I tried to play it twice, but I only made it to about halfway through making my character. It was just, there was too many numbers. It took too long.
It does get very number crunchy
at
times.
They wouldn't give me enough stat points to allocate to what I felt would be an accurate representation of me in the game.
Well, you just have to be flexible with like races.
Yeah.
Then you get some like weird stat modifications going on there.
Fair enough, yeah.
But
so you get so much panache per day.
Yeah. So,
what does it do?
So it's basically, the class, I want to say Cavalier, but I know that's not right because that's like mounted.
Okay.
It's basically like think of like Zorro.
Yes,
So they
exactly. The
class
Dread Pirate
primarily
Roberts.
uses like rapiers.
Yeah.
They're very focused typically on like 1v1 combat. But rather than be like a warrior who's just like they power through everything.
Yeah.
They're more finesse.
Yes, a swashbuckler.
That's the class.
Oh, is it? A swashbuckler,
For some reason, my mind was going blank. And I kept thinking Cavalier. I'm like, I know that's not right.
Yeah.
So the swashbuckler has certain skills
Right.
that they can use, but it costs panache.
Like your Han
do
Solos and your Indiana Joneses and your Captain Jack Sparrows.
Yeah, they'd be
Yeah,
they're very
swashbucklers.
swashbuckler.
Yeah.
Some of their
Nashes.
some of their abilities, in order to use it, takes a point of panache
Oh,
to
okay.
activate, and they only get so much panache per day.
Yeah, you can't
but
just
you can-
swagger through the whole day.
Yeah, but you can get panache back by acts of daring do.
Ah, yes. I love this.
2% panache back.
That's okay. Are you a member of the Panache Rewards program? Every time you swagger around and do something amazing, you get a little bit of your swagger back.
Yeah, and it's basically it's up to GM discretion. Be like, you know what? I liked what you did there. You get a point of panache back.
I love this. We should get a Dungeons and Dragons campaign going where but it's just my life.
I still regularly play. I mean, we haven't played in a little while since one of the people we play with moved to Canada and has been busy moving.
I've heard of it.
But yeah, like we play pretty much every Friday night.
Wow.
Like me, Adam, and a couple other people.
Nice.
They play just over Skype or Discord.
That's cool.
But yeah, it's fun, and it's nice that you can do it with a lot of people and not actually have with technology now. You don't have to actually all be in the same place.
Yeah, that's cool. Yep. See, it's stuff like that that gets me all excited, and I'm like, I'm gonna play Dungeons and Dragons, and then I get like 5 minutes into it, and I'm like, I hate this. Why is this so slow?
See, well, the other thing too is like if you're starting as a level 1 character,
Right.
You are going to be exceptional compared to like peasants,
Right.
but compared to say like your typical like guard at a castle,
Right.
he could probably kick your ass.
I think what would frustrate me the most is that I would want to play as if I was me now in real life with decades and decades of
That's the thing,
swaggering
like,
experience.
You'd be like a level 20 character at this point.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. So I'm like, aha! I would just bluff my way past the guard. I would cleverly perform a ruse, and they'd be like, "No, you can't do that. Your level's too low." Like, objection! I'm awesome in real life. I should be able to do this.
See, really though, I would say that the GM should let you try it,
Yeah,
but tell you like it's going to be really hard.
just like in real life. That's what I
But
want.
if you describe it the way you say you're going to do it,
Right.
that may modify how difficult it is.
Brilliant.
It's like Adam's our GM, and that's usually he's like, you know what? It's going to be like a DC 25, but if you really sell it to me, I might make some modifications there.
Okay. All right.
uh,
I could do that.
but yeah, so for the most part, like unless it's something that's like going to break the game, I feel like the GM should be like, no, you can't do that. And otherwise, just be like, sure, you can try it. It's going to be really hard, though. Just be aware.
I wish for infinite wishes.
It's like you're probably going to fail, so just be prepared for the consequences.
I like that. All right, Sound Guy Ben, pick a microphone. How did you come across this incredible chair that you're sitting in now?
Well, first of all, I have a single...
First of all, prior to this chair, can you please describe the chair that you were using?
Yes, but I have a single note.
Okay.
Single note first.
Okay. A note.
It's more of a question.
All right. Is it from you?
Yeah, it's from me.
Okay.
So,
You wrote it down?
it's a picture.
Okay.
I work with a guy that's like into like Japanese stuff,
Okay.
and he had this shirt made,
Oh, God.
and the shirt has his
Here it goes.
catchphrase on it. At least it's supposed to
Okay.
have his catchphrase on it. So let's see if it's correct.
All right, let me see. Obviously, language isn't one-to-one. So on the top, it looks like... I think I know what he was trying to say,
Okay.
but it's not a... I think he was going for a statement,
Yeah, pretty much.
but it's a question. So I think he was trying to say, I can't yet go home. Is that right? Like, I can't return home yet?
He's saying, "Can I go home now?" Or
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that is a question. So Yeah, so this would literally be like the verb tense is wrong at the end. So currently it says all right, so in Japanese it says mada ie ni kairu koto wa dekimasu ka on the top, which is literally I still can go home. So it's like he's asking, like, I can still go home. Like, yes, still you can still go. You've always been able to go. You can still go now. And then at the bottom it says imasugu koroshite, which is like once again, this is in the tense of like a command form to someone else. Okay. So on the top, it's kind of like he's asking someone else, or it sounds like he's asking someone else, like, you can still go home, like, and then on the bottom, it's a command form, and it's right now, like, go kill.
Okay.
Go kill right now. So what should that be?
Kill me now.
Kill me now. Yeah, it didn't translate well. I can rewrite this, but that's not the literal translation of the top and bottom. So the on the top, the tense is wrong. So it's like I can go home now still. Like, I can still go home now is what it says on top. It doesn't say mada ie ni kairu koto wa dekimasu ka. So maybe dekimasen ka, like what was it supposed to say? What was it supposed to mean?
Can I go home now? Or wait, can I go home? Kill me now.
Yeah, so it doesn't say that. It says I can still go home? Question mark. And then on the bottom it's
right now. Kill.
Right now, kill, like he's telling someone else, like, now kill. Like that's what it looks like. Like there's a picture of a wolf between those things, so it's almost implied like maybe he's like commanding the wolf to go kill somebody or something. So it's like, now kill.
I don't know what the wolf is about.
But yeah, and then on the bottom it says imasugu koroshite.
If you go, is it? No.
I don't know how to work a phone. He got the Chinese characters correct though, which is where most people usually get it wrong.
That's the front.
So it's the conjugation that's messed up. Like, the tense of the verbs is wrong. Okay. So that's why it's turned into like a command for someone else, or like a question for like presently. Like, I can still go home now. Right now I can still go home. So the actual Chinese characters for like now and go and home and return or kill, like, those are all correct, that's where most people usually mess up. So that's good, but I can write out what it should be if he wants the correct form of the shirt. I like the front. The front is a graphic. It's got that Japanese flag in the back. That's kind of the backdrop there. It's the old imperial flag, which is the Japanese equivalent of the Confederate flag. So it's I try not to use the imperial flag unless I'm talking about World War II. But then it's got like a samurai-looking guy with glasses fighting a toaster.
It's a pizza oven.
It's a pizza oven. It's actually really well done. Is that an original graphic?
It's a friend of his friend drew that.
It's very well done. I might take him up on
really
making me another shirt, because I got another one in the oven right now. Pun intended, I guess. But yeah, I can fix the grammar. I can rewrite that, and you can give it to him if you want, and if he cares.
Totally.
But yeah, it's make sure you tell him that if he goes anywhere where anyone can read Japanese, that it's gonna look weird. Well, that's the other thing too, is like, grammatically the sentences are correct. They just don't say what he thinks they say. They aren't like nonsense sentences. Like, they make sense grammatically. It's just that they're not the sentences he wants them to be. But they do make sense. All right, lay it on me. How far in are we? Already 20 minutes in.
Oh my goodness.
You're the one who was like, we got to get out of here. These
goodness.
episodes are so long. Now tell me about this chair. Tell me how you got this sick-looking chair. First, tell the audience, tell the two people who listen to this show, and its inconveniently posted location currently, what you were using for a chair before.
Most of the time, a small 12-watt guitar amp.
Oh, I forgot about that. What did you use before the amp? I thought the amp was before, and then what was your most recent one? It was a stack of milk crates.
Oh yes, the
milk crate. Stack of milk crates. So it wasn't amp. That was a stack of milk crates, and now
milk
it's
crate
a
broke. So.
sweet ass chair.
Oh yeah.
How'd you get it? How much would this chair retail?
About $300.
About $300, and you bought this with your own
I did
money.
not buy this. This was free.
This was a free chair.
This was free because apparently
The whole story.
So two friends.
Someone queried you.
Two friends that I work with are friends with each other. One of them one day asked me out of the blue what you would do if you came home and someone was masturbating in your chair. I didn't really know what to do.
First of all, I only masturbate on other people's furniture.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, that's the only. I just borrow furniture for that sole
Yeah, I mean, you
purpose,
don't want to do it on your own. What if somebody runs a black light in your room?
Yeah, you would look foolish.
That would be disgusting.
That's why I love house sitting.
Well, not so it's the whole exhibitionism aspect of it.
That's
It's
true.
Someone else's chair.
It's a new chair. That's
New
right.
Experience.
Yeah. Can't be sitting around on the same sloppy chair your whole life.
Oh no.
You just grow to slowly hate that chair. Get a new, fresh chair every so often.
And knowing that you aren't supposed to be doing it.
That's right. It's the thrill of the chair. Anyway, continue. So this guy was just out of the blue querying you, like, "Hey, what if you just open a door and your friend was really just ferociously masturbating on your chair?
Ferociously.
What would you do?
Now,
What
on
would?
the chair or in the chair?
Ooh, that's a good question. What?
I'm assuming he was in the chair.
What?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe the pheromones from the chair.
Yeah.
Set him off. I didn't know what to say to that. But the next day, I was asked by the friend of this guy if I wanted a chair. So
Just random, like the completely unrelated,
out of the blue
conversation, different guy, but the friend of the first guy.
Yeah.
Was
Hey,
just
buddy,
like,
you want a
"Hey,
chair?
Nothing related at all to anything you might have been talking about.
Yeah.
But do you want a chair?
Yeah.
And it was this chair.
It was this chair, and
Did you put two and two together at that time?
I did, and I immediately asked him if anyone was masturbating in this chair. He told me no. Told me no several times.
Of course he did. He was violent denial. Was anyone masturbating in this chair? No, not me. I can
He's-
tell you that.
He still tells me no, even though I've already took it.
Like, even though I don't ask, he still tells me no. He just calls me up in the middle of the night, like, just so you know, I wasn't jacking in that
By the
chair.
way, nobody's masturbating.
But do you want this $300 chair? It's very nice.
It's a $300 chair, so
Well,
I'm not gonna say
congratulations.
no.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say, since they give it to you for free, someone definitely masturbated.
For sure.
in that chair.
yeah,
For sure.
I mean, it's
That-
a chair.
Still,
I would
you know what?
assume that anyway.
That's a sexy chair.
It's not like covered in ejaculate, so you know what?
Yeah.
I would probably take the chair too.
It's totally
It's a
fine.
nice chair.
If
It
the
is very
chair
nice
was
chair.
covered in semen, I would still take that chair. I would just put a blanket on top. Or like run some Febreze on it. I mean, that's a really nice chair.
This is nice pleather though.
So here-
Corinthian pleather.
So Corinthian pleather. Here comes the real question. Back to the original question. What would you do? You open the door. Someone you know, a close friend, is just ferociously or even casually, maybe lazily,
Well,
masturbating in your chair. Your chair.
That chair.
This chair.
you know, I have one experience where it was similar enough that I feel like I'd do the same thing.
Okay.
I came home one day I was living with an older guy.
Sure.
And
Older like a couple of years, or
Oh
older
no,
like
he was like old, like
80.
I mean, I was like 20, and he was like maybe 55.
okay,
something.
Sure. All right.
But a roommate situation, and upon just lingering downstairs, I hear some very loud pornography playing. No headphones, this guy.
Sure, yeah.
Just
Was
like,
it-
not expecting anyone to be there in the middle of the day.
I got a buddy who puts porn on as his background noise, and he'll like clean the house.
Well, maybe
and like
that's what he was doing.
do the dishes and stuff.
He could have very well been doing that.
Yeah, he just really likes background noise for porn.
But upon hearing that, I quickly grabbed the thing that I needed and left.
okay, so
So
all
I'd
right,
probably do that too.
Okay, so if you open the door and you see someone masturbating on your chair, you would just 180 degrees and out. There's no words.
I think
Just
so.
like, and pardon me, I didn't realize this was occupied.
I think I might. I
That's-
think I
yeah,
might.
that's-
And probably like leave. Like don't hang around and wait Just leave. Wait for them to leave too.
Right.
So you don't have to speak with them or
Sure.
look at them.
Yeah. You're going to see him eventually.
I don't know. You might want to sever
You're
that bridge.
you're like 180 degrees. Walk out the door. Never come back. One-way ticket to a different state, different country. It's the new life, brand new life.
That's why I have the self-destruct button on my house
Yeah, I always have.
for a situation just like this.
I think that if someone was daring enough, nonchalant enough to masturbate in my chair, then I should be daring and bold enough to just carry on about my business like they're not there. So if they're just really going ham and then I just walk in the room, then I'll just be like, well, don't mind me, carry on. I'm going to grab some dishes and leftovers and fold my laundry and then I'll get out of here. Like, that's, just treat it like it's no big deal.
Just don't even acknowledge it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't acknowledge anything.
Now that I've finished my laundry and the dishes, I think I'll enjoy a good masturbation. Let me just sit down in my chair that no one is in.
That's right. Just be like, have you seen my masturbating chair? You know the one. Very nice. Well, congratulations on the acquisition of your new chair.
That's great.
All right. Well, let's get to some notes. Did you have any more notes, or was it just your homework that I gave you?
No, that's all I had.
Awesome. All right. Well, here we go. Here's some. While I was out and about around in Japan, which we will get to, just some quick things that have happened around the world. Things that really matter, not dumb things like current events and news and what have you. The real stuff. Science and discovery. They're mostly I told you so's. So, with my giant tinfoil hat that I'm always forced to wear because I sound like a loon whenever I say anything. Here comes a long list of I told you so's. Item 1. They did a sonar or something. I'm not really sure what sort of penetrating radars they were using, but they used the laser or something. Sound waves. I don't have the whole article anymore. It fell off, but I remember the gist of it. Anyway, they were scanning Antarctica, and under the ice is a giant Grand Canyon, larger than the Grand Canyon under the ice. I don't know what's under there. Could be all kinds of extinct species remnants or whatever, because let's not forget it used to be a tropical area. Mm-hmm. But yeah, huge. It's another Grand Canyon under the Antarctic ice, just
now,
cleft in the continental shelf.
So that's what I was going to ask, like, to clarify. So it was a void that since has filled with water that froze.
It's not even full of anything. It's hollow, I believe. The ice is on top of it.
So there we go. It's the entrance to the Hollow Earth.
That's right. There it is. Item 2. They were calculating Earth density using sonic waves and whatever, and it turns out most of the Earth's mantle is probably diamonds. If a new model turns out to be correct, you can't mine them because they're about 100 miles below the surface.
They're really hard to get to.
They are hard to get to. And as I've always said, diamonds aren't rare.
Yeah.
But I've also always said that they are probably super prolific, and since the way that, the tectonic plates smash together and force things up through the mantle and volcanoes and whatnot, I have said that the most volcanic area on Earth, Antarctica, is probably full of diamonds, and now I feel validated in that, because if any place is going to be swarming with diamonds, and the Earth is full of diamonds, it's going to be that place that has the most goop coming out from the center of the Earth. So, there you go, lots of diamonds. Let's see here. Yeah, they use sound waves, and they seem to travel too quickly through what they thought was in the Earth, but not if they're diamonds. Diamonds allow for faster speed of sound than other crystals, and they're guessing that the entire Earth might be as much as 2% diamonds by volume, which that's a big one. Here comes another one. So those are two big I told you so's. I'm always harping on everyone for their ludicrous diets, including the paleo diet. They're like, it's all just raw fruits and vegetables, because that's the cavemen way. They just discovered a bread-making site in northeastern Jordan, dating back over 14,000 years.
Yeah, I actually read about that recently.
Yeah, the discovery showed that ancient hunter-gatherers were making and eating bread 4,000 years before the Neolithic era and the introduction of agriculture. So they were making bread 4,000 years before they were growing grains. So much for the paleo diet. Take that.
Which still, how they came about making bread
Aliens
blows my mind.
Whoa!
Like there's have to be so much just random trial and error involved.
Yeah, you would think so. Do you know what ayahuasca is?
Mm-mm.
The South American hallucinogenic drug.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Its recipe is so convoluted, and they discovered it thousands of years ago. I mean, it is really, really convoluted. Like, you gotta let these leaves steep in human saliva for so long and ferment before you mix them with other stuff. It's like bread and alchemy and baking meth to the max.
Because, I mean, baking, at its essence, is essentially chemistry.
Yeah. I always call it alchemy, edible alchemy.
Yeah. So, yeah, the fact that someone 14,000 years ago, apparently... Well, I mean, and of course, if they were doing it 14,000 years ago, they probably had to be trying to do it
much longer than
that.
Yeah, usually you don't arrive at the finished product immediately.
So, 16,000 years ago, someone was like, I wonder if I just put all this stuff together.
If I just smashed it up and wet it down and then
put it in an stone oven.
Yeah.
What'll happen? Will it be good?
yeah. And then I'm going to eat it. Yeah, that's it's really, really fascinating. The oldest previous bread was about 5,000 years older than that. But yeah, the site dates to at least 14,400 years, and is the oldest example of bread making in the archaeological record so far. So I always say that people are never giving credit enough to people. Like, they're always like, well, how could they have built this thing without diamond drills? You can see the marks, very reminiscent of diamond drills, and it's the only way to make this thing, and they built it, but the record says they didn't have diamond drills. Like, well, maybe they did. If all the other things you're saying are true.
Or maybe they just spent a really long time doing it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, people are
they didn't have as
pretty
much
amazing.
Stuff to do back then.
Yeah, when you get enough bored people together, or slaves, you can accomplish so much. This just in the world of treasure hunting. Sunken Russian warship rumored to contain 200 tons of gold discovered near South Korea. A missing Russian galleon of the sail variety from the Russo-Japanese War in 1905 was discovered off the coast of Korea recently, supposedly containing 200 tons of gold. Estimated value, $200 billion.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's are some logistical problems.
I was going to say, how deep down is this? Because getting all that gold back up is the problem.
Well, apparently they're fully capable of getting there, because they discovered the shipwreck, and they've sent little undersea drones there to get it. What is the name? The Dmitry Donskoy was the name of the ship. It was sank on May 29th, 1905. Deliberately sunk by its captain after taking serious damage at the Battle of Tsushima. So that's pretty suspicious when you deliberately sink your ship. The ship is rumored to contain 5,500 boxes of gold bullion amounting to 150 trillion won, or $133 billion.
That's expensive soup.
That's right. The joint salvage team, which involves experts from China, Canada, and the UK, says that it plans to collect as much treasure from the ship as possible and give half to the Russian government. The group says it'll donate 10% to the South Korean government for the purposes of transforming the island into a tourist destination. The only problem with these things are the salvage team doesn't have the salvage rights from South Korea, because you have to apply for the salvage rights, and South Korean law states that if you want salvage rights, you have to put a 10% deposit down on the worth of what you're trying to salvage, which means they would have to deposit
1.3 billion,
$13.2 billion before it can go to work.
Oh yeah, that'd be 1%.
Yeah. The group disagrees with the assessment, saying that it found a ship and not treasure, so the value is closer to $1 million. They're trying to salvage the ship. And if it happens to have treasure, well, what a pleasant surprise that would be.
I'm sure they could get some, shark to front them
the 13 billion US dollars.
They're going to get, 100 billion.
200 billion?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not going to get all of it.
Also, Russia's denying that it's full of treasure, and if it is treasure, they want it. And Korea wants that treasure.
There's no treasure, but if there is, it's ours.
Yeah, because they were like, it's our ship, you know? And Japan is like, well, it's our treasure because you looted it from us. And then Russia's like, we were at war, and to the victor goes the spoils. We took it fair and square. So it's ours. And then South Korea's like, it's been in our waters for 200 years. It's ours. And
The statute of limitations is up now.
yeah, I just want to swoop in with some good scuba gear and just get one good handful and leave. Just all I
the rule
need.
of finders keepers.
Yeah.
That's like if you threw out like something and like you just threw it in the trash and it turned out that it was worth $1 million.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, but that was mine. But you like,
You let it go.
yeah, it's not. Somebody else found it.
Yeah. But it's kind of different. It'd be more like if you were driving a car on the road and that car broke down, so you had to leave the car.
But you left it there for 200 years.
Sure, but you know, on a grander time scale, let's just smush it down to like regular people life. Let's say you leave it there for 2 weeks
So,
because
the car now is completely worthless.
True.
It's all completely junk.
Yeah.
But in the trunk of the car,
it's a really
bunch of blood.
it's a really sweet collection of records and cocaine. And you're like, those are my records and cocaine. The car just broke down. I'm coming back for them. But then your friend is like, you borrowed those records and cocaine from me. You're like, you gave them to me. I helped you move. That was my payment. You know?
and then the state's like, the car's on our road.
The car's on our road. Statute of limitations is over. Our tow truck had to go out there and get that car. It became our property. It's impounded. We get everything inside. Yeah, it's kind of like that. So while they're all arguing, I just want
You just want to sneak in and
I don't ask for much.
a handful.
Just a handful of, maybe just a basket of gold bullion in its purest form to sell at half the price that it's worth, just to unload it. Probably to North Korea, whoever. Let's see. There was a big earthquake in Mexico. It damaged a pyramid. Yeah, one of those pyramids. Yeah, and under the pyramid was an Aztec temple hidden below the pyramid. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Just goes to show you, like I always say, once again, I told you so, everyone who keeps telling me that I'm crazy, paranoid. There, underneath everything moderately cool is something much cooler. I'm so convinced.
I stumbled upon a subreddit that is devoted to the idea that basically not all, but a lot of modern
Architecture
is built on top of like ancient ruins.
That's true. That's not even a crackpot theory.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like a lot of that is true.
Yeah. And fact. It's true and factual.
Yeah. They go a bit far on it, saying that it's purposefully trying to obfuscate, like the hidden history.
Sometimes.
And the
maybe
thing
if it was a kick-ass Native American thing. Yeah, sometimes.
But not
Christianity.
all the time. They're saying it's like a worldwide conspiracy.
Well, the Vatican. The
Vatican's a weird place.
When I was at the Vatican, they fully admitted to me that there are catacombs under the Vatican full of all the esoteric treasures that they've looted from the religions that they have squashed and absorbed throughout the years.
Yeah.
So in the areas where they had native worship sites, they just built Christian structures on top of those sites in order to absorb and crush the native religions. So I mean, you could take that a step further, or even maybe not even further, maybe just equally that far. If there's some kind of culture you're trying to quelch and absorb, just build new stuff on the old stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, so like I said, like
I want in those
I think
catacombs
it's called
so
like
bad.
the Hidden Record or something is the name of the subreddit. But and yeah, like I said, I fully agree that absolutely does happen.
It does happen. Maybe it doesn't happen all the time.
But they're saying it's like everywhere. Everywhere.
I mean, I'd have to take a look at it. I myself am a crazy crackpot, paranoid conspiracy theorist. It just so happens I'm right all the time. So take that, everyone. I just really have to hurry up and get to some of these places where I have all these theories remaining before someone else discovers all the things. It's like, I have nothing left in the world. I devoted my life to this, and you beat me to it. I'm just go back to my podcast. Damn it. I'm gonna go back to Ninja Warrior.
Sponsor this week is defeat.
Sponsor of the show is begrudgingly waking up again. Oh man, yeah. So those are that's the news. The temple that was under that pyramid is quite possibly the oldest evidence of human occupation at that site. Represents a very early stage in the Aztec period. 7.1 magnitude quake, damaged a lot of stuff. So yeah, it's completely off limits to tourists and whatever. And even archaeologists are having a hard time with the mapping and excavation because of the earthquake was so severe. The temple underneath, the foundation was destroyed. So even though it's been under there for so long, now it's super dangerous. And they're trying to figure out how to get in there. The floor of both shrines have sunk and are now deformed, making the structures potentially unstable. So they're assessing the damage and devising potential restoration strategies. So if anyone of note is listening, I am available. You can't buy me, but I am available for rent at a very reasonable rate. So if you need to send a human being in there, throwing my floppy hat into the ring. So there you go. Any other notes from around the world from you guys?
I can't remember if we brought it up before, but it's about in China, these gigantic underground
Caves?
Not
Sandworms.
caves. It was like caverns, but they were constructed. And then like the Chinese don't even know like where they came from or when they were constructed.
I don't think we.
But they're massive.
I don't think we've talked about that, but there are. That wouldn't surprise me because of the Indian Buddhist migration into China. In India, there are similar caves where 1,000 Buddhist ascetics, they would try to get away from civilization to meditate or whatever, and they'd just go out into the wilderness, and they had nothing better to do, so they would just dig these basically tunnels or into the ground or into cliff sides, and they would just do that for hundreds and hundreds of years and generations until from the earth itself they would carve these like giant temples, like just underground and on the sides of cliffs, like massive, gigantic. Like they would whittle down a mountain into a temple or whittle it into the side of the earth, and then they would just get overgrown with more dirt and trees, and they'd be lost to the sands of time until thousands of years later, when some Englishman is off trying to hunt pigeons with his dog, and then he just like stumbles over a cliff, and he's like, oh, there's a 300-foot gorge, and at the bottom is an incredible temple that was built by people. That's crazy. And that stuff happens all the time, and every time that the monks would stay there, and then more monks would show up, and more monks would show up, and it would become a new society, they would all leave and go start it over again, because they're like, this is exactly what we were trying to avoid. So they would just do that. So a sect of Buddhism migrated from India, where it originally started, to China. So it wouldn't surprise me that those caves are there and exist. And also, they already had a tradition of burying certain things in underground tombs, like Genghis Khan's tomb, or in Xi'an, the terracotta warriors, certain other things. So all those things combined make that very believable. Plus, they have a very karst landscape anyway, so it lends itself to having expansive underground starter caves where you can get your whole creepy underground tomb civilization going.
And that's what they said. It looks like that basically it started as like a natural cave, but then there were excavations to greatly expand
Right.
it.
Yeah.
I think what happened, the way they found it was like a sinkhole
Yeah.
or something.
That's how they found
Opened
the
up, and then
terracotta
basically
warriors.
They just like went down there and they're like, there's like tons of open space down here.
Yeah, that's how they found the terracotta warriors. And then in Borneo, I think that's the largest sealed off underground cave in the world. Is there was just a little sinkhole and someone poked his head in and he's like, this is really deep. And then it turned out to be not only just a gigantic underground cave, but I think the oldest or largest to date underground civilization. We have talked about that because they spelunked down in there and there was remnants of ancient civilizations and stuff down there, like human sacrifices and stuff. Just real crazy stuff. I'm like, wow, there could be underground civilizations anywhere.
More people
Under pyramids, under Mexican hotels, Statue of Liberty. I'm calling it. There's something underneath. It's too suspicious. The best way to hide.
Was one of this actually gifted to us by the
Yeah,
French?
it was. Yeah.
So what are the French trying to cover up? Or are we covering up
We're
something?
covering up something. Well, it had to go on a plot of land or on
Right.
something. So whatever it's sitting on, maybe like an imperfection and just cover up a blemish. Like, we will put this big statue here.
It was just where New York they used to put all their trash.
That's right.
Just
They're like,
offshore.
this is hideous.
Giant
Yeah.
barge, and they just
Liberty Island used to be Garbage Island, and they're like, if only we had a statue of a lady. And France was like, we got a pile of these. You want them? And I'm like, yes. You can quote me on that, history books. That's how it happened. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's from the French. You know who else has a Statue of Liberty? Japan. It's smaller, but it looks exactly the same.
I did not know that.
They also have an Eiffel Tower, but theirs is
I
bigger.
knew that.
Theirs is bigger than the Eiffel
Yeah,
Tower.
Tokyo Tower, yeah.
Yeah, Tokyo Tower, I think, is 3 meters taller, like 9 feet taller. Like, take that, Eiffel Tower.
So, well, and the other thing I was interested when the Eiffel Tower was first built, people thought it was a monstrosity.
Yeah, they were not for
They
it.
were not happy about it.
Yeah, they were not for it at all. And, I mean, you know, you look at it and you're accustomed to it now, so you're like, oh, what a structure. But, like, if you were looking at it with fresh eyes, you'd be like, what a piece of junk.
Yeah.
This is just steel girders.
Yeah, this was like just giant steel monstrosity.
Yeah.
It looks terrible.
It's
it ruins
not-
the entire landscape.
Yeah, that architect had a rough go his entire career.
And then now it's like the most visited
Landmark?
landmark in the world.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's definitely a thing. Lots of pickpockets and gypsies and vagabonds and stuff there. Nobody bothered me, but I saw other people getting bothered.
But you look like one of them.
I was mistaken for one of them several times, or correctly identified as one several times, depending on the day. But, yeah, those are stories for another day. But, yeah, I guess that's it. So, thanks for tuning in. The National Pastime. I'm Nash.
I'm Aaron.
Panache!
Nash.
Nash!